Moon Knight Episode 1 Explained. Kickstarting off a new Marvel Limited series, we had the Goldfish Problem. So let's delve into it and see if it was any good. Here is Moon Knight Episode 1 Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. I thought this first episode of the show was great. We saw a slightly different side and origin story to a Marvel superhero. Oscar Isaac plays Stephen, who's a gift shop worker in a museum in central London, and he forces himself to stay awake at night due to the fact that he finds himself waking up at random places and has no recollection as of why. Hence why we see him with sand around his bed so he's able to track movement, tape over the door to ensure it's not been torn, and also leg restraints on his bed. As the episode goes on, we see him live a pretty mundane day-to-day life, but it's only as we get halfway through the episode that we see him wake up in the Alps, and he has many people after him after taking the scarab. Arthur Harrow is played by Ethan Hawke, and it's clear to see that he's going to be the villain in the first season of the show as he confronts Stephen about this. It looks as though he possesses the power to be able to judge people's fate and determine if they've been a good person or a bad person. If they're good, he spares them. If they're bad, he kills them. He's a world-renowned surgeon and is currently trying to make Earth more like heaven. And this is what we see in the first episode. Ethan Hawke as Harrow looks as though he's almost like a cult leader, and despite being considered a non-major villain in the MCU, it looks like he's going to have some great importance in this limited series. Once Stephen wakes up back in London after an incredible chase scene with cuts that really painted the picture of Stephen's confused mind, he was under the impression that the encounter in the Alps was all a dream, but he soon realizes it wasn't when he goes on his date and it turns out it was 2 days later than he originally thought it was, meaning he missed it. He was under the impression that it was a Friday, but in actual fact it was a Sunday. Due to this, Stephen ate steak, and this is something that is not usually true to the character as he's vegan. In my mind, this was a sign of him being fed up and giving up, as it felt like everything was out of his control. When he then arrived back at the flat, we saw him notice some marks on the floor and find a hidden mobile phone and key. It is here where we see Layla being the main contact and receiving 50 missed calls on the phone from her. He's oblivious to who she is when they speak on the phone, and she's baffled by his English accent. She referred to him as Mark, and I think it's safe to say that she recognizes the American accent that we hear at the end, when he's in the bathroom and the person in the mirror is talking to him. After this, we saw him have several episodes, and he woke up on the bus letting out a scream, only realizing once off of it that Arthur Harrow had followed him to London and was after him, confirming to Stephen that it wasn't a dream and the events did take place in the Alps. I thought the way that they did the cuts between him being awake and then also showing Khonshu appearing and then disappearing at the blink of an eye was stylistically really nice on the eye. You got the sense of confusion and the thought of, was it real? Did that just happen? And allowed us to see inside Stephen's head. Once Stephen got to work, he soon realized that Harrow was there, and many of the security guards were part of this cult that Harrow appears to be leading. He said that he wanted the scarab, otherwise Stephen would be torn apart. This leads him to do the test on Stephen to see if he's good or bad, and we as the audience don't see the answer. However, I think it's safe to say that it would have tilted towards the evil side based off of Harrow's response. As Stephen didn't relinquish the scarab, later on that day a jackal hunted Stephen down, and we saw him ending up locked in the bathroom. It is here where for the first time we see him communicate with Mark, who is on the other side of the mirror, and he informed Stephen that if he allowed him to take control over the body, then he'll be able to destroy the creature and he won't be killed. Stephen allowed it, and then what we witnessed was absolutely incredible. We saw Stephen in the Moon Knight ceremonial gowns as he pounded the jackal into the ground. He walked towards the camera in the final shot and set up the second episode nicely. The jackal on the hunt to then looking like it was trying to escape showed how the tables had turned and just how powerful Moon Knight is. I thought this episode was great. It had a serious yet comedic nature that I really appreciated. Oscar Isaac has said that he's taken inspiration from Carl Pilkington, which is a funny one for a Marvel superhero, but it worked. Oscar Isaac provided relatability, likability, and a hunger to want to watch more. I can't wait to see how the story of Moon Knight, Mark, Stephen, Arthur, and Layla soon merges together. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.